Going on sale for 1996, the Acura 3.5 RL effectively served as the replacement for the outgoing Legend sedan. Being positioned above the 3.2 TL, the new luxury sedan offered buyers an extensive list of standard equipment while being priced below the competition. In this episode, we're going to take a closer look at the Acura 3.5 RL, the flagship from Honda that targeted the best from Lexus, INFINITI, and other luxury brands. So grab a high C, kick back, and let's get down to the nitty-gritty. The second generation Acura Legend hit the showrooms in October 1990, powered by a 200 horsepower single overhead cam engine. Overall, the new second generation Legend would be a hit, blending the right amount of sportiness with luxury. Since the second generation car had grown so much over its predecessor, the division saw sales potential for a new, slightly smaller sedan that could fill the void of the first generation Legend. That new, slightly smaller sedan would become known as the Vigor, hitting the showroom floor in 1991 for the 1992 model year. Now that the Vigor was on sale, the execs were dedicated to pushing the Legend even further upmarket and making it more of a proper competitor to high-dollar sedans such as the Lexus LS400 and INFINITI Q45. Honda's next-generation flagship would soon enter the development process, and this future model would be larger with a softer ride and offer the contemporary features of a luxury sedan. 1993. The design for a new successor was submitted and approved. The car that was being designed would ultimately become the third generation JDM Honda Legend. For the North American market, Acura was on a mission to revamp its lineup and also introduce new models to remain relevant in the increasingly competitive luxury market. With European automakers using the notorious alphanumeric designations, Honda's luxury brand itself followed suit, and the would-be third-generation Legend sedan instead became the 3.5 RL for the US market. 1995. Production for the new 3.5 RL began, going on sale later in the year as a 1996. This was just in time to replace the outgoing second-generation Legend. The new version was understated, yet elegantly styled. The broad rear deck and formal C-pillars showed a bit of W140 S-Class influence. Overall, the new flagship sedan had contemporary 90s Japanese luxury sedan styling. Acura was able to justify the new alphanumeric name since it was rolling out new products for the North American market for the next several years that would have a similar naming scheme, notably the TL, CL, SLX, and the lesser-known Canadian exclusive EL. The Integra was the exception, holding out and retaining its name until the release of the RSX. With larger exterior and interior dimensions than its predecessor, the 3.5 RL retained front-wheel drive and V6 power. As its name suggested, the 3.5 RL's engine was a single overhead cam, 24-valve, 3.5-liter V6, cranking out 210 horsepower via a 4-speed automatic. The new RL was one of the first vehicles on the US market to offer in-dash GPS as an option, which began on late 1996 models before ultimately becoming a standard feature. Over the course of the RL's first generation, the system was consistently updated as technology improved, with an enlarged screen and the addition of voice recognition to enhance user friendliness. With the 1999 model, the 3.5 RL was thoroughly refreshed with more than 300 separate improvements intended to enhance safety, comfort, and performance. Most of the 99 RL's exterior panels were redesigned. The headlamps were enlarged and fitted with HID lights. The fog lamps were now integrated into the front fascia. The look, overall, was more substantial. The 3.5 RL exchanged the sports sedan feel of the Legend in favor of a solid and refined luxury feel. The execs at Acura marketed the TL to individuals who were looking for a sportier sedan. Acura has suffered at the hands of Lexus over the previous years, and the execs felt as though if the RL was to be taken seriously, it needed to have more mature driving dynamics to take on cars like the LS400. On the inside is where the RL truly shined. As expected from a Honda product, let alone the brand's global flagship, the RL's interior was one of impeccable craftsmanship with high-quality materials and excellent fit and finish. Inside of Acura's flagship was fashionable and boasted all of the latest in comfort, convenience, and technology features. From any of its seats, the RL had the look and feel of an expensive car, and the interior dimensions were on par with the LS400. Initially offering 210 horsepower, the 3.5-liter V6 was an adequate power plant, although it did not create the amount of excitement found in the competition's 8-cylinder engines. By 2002, there was an additional 15 horsepower. However, by this point, even the smaller 3.2-liter and the TL Type S generated more power. In this particular market, V8 engines were expected, especially when considering North American buyers. The RL was criticized amongst consumers for the lack of 8-cylinder power and rear-wheel drive. When considering the size, exterior design, fit and finish, and features of the RL, it brought to the table nearly everything that was needed to compete against those other sedans. But many had hoped for a different powertrain and drive wheel layout in order to consider a true contender with those other flagships. There were execs at Acura that ultimately regretted the decision of giving up the brand equity that went with the Legend nameplate. The 3.5 RL needed time to build the kind of name recognition its predecessor enjoyed. Then again, maybe it was a good thing they decided to drop the Legend name, since the two cars were very much different in terms of personality. With the new 1996 flagship, Acura had envisioned a more serious luxury sedan while shunning the sporty flavor of the Legend. Disappointing sales convinced the company that some of its past success could be attributed to the sporty handling offered by the previous Legend. After all, Acura had built up a reputation of sporty handling and engineering excellence. That said, the suspension on later RLs were revised, offering sharper handling. All in all, the 3.5 RL was impressive on paper, offering a capable V6, high level of fit and finish, and numerous standard luxury features at a competitive price. I knew an older lady that owned this generation RL, and although she loved the car, her only complaint was the fuel efficiency. Despite the V6, the RL had a gas-guzzling aspect to it, with a thirst for premium fuel. Let us know if you owned or drove a 1996 to 2004 Acura RL. As always, thanks for coming out to the show, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until next time, this is your host Rob, and thanks for tuning in to Antique Tags.